accustomed to seeing the river in late spring and summer with trees in full leaf, or in fall when the trees paint the river in oranges and reds. But the Kaw is also beautiful in the winter, and Kansas weather frequently provides opportunities to see it. I'm Bill Hughes, a volunteer Kansas River guide with Friends of the Kaw, and this is a Kaw River. Summer paddling is carefree. When the air temperature is above 90 and the water is warm, getting wet is part of the fun. But in winter, staying dry and warm is the only way to stay safe on the river. Dress as you would for any outdoor activity at this time of the year, in layers of wool and synthetic fabrics. Avoid down and fiber fill layers because your top layer is a life jacket and that will crush down that insulation. As a top layer for both wind breaking and to keep the spray off of me, I use an extra large rain jacket that fits over my life jacket and spray skirt. You'll be launching and landing in ankle deep water, so leave the neoprenes and the water shoes at home for the winter. You want a boot that has calf length, maybe a high neoprene or even a barn boot. Make sure when you buy your boots that you buy a size large enough for an extra pair of socks. Also check the fit of your boots underneath the deck of your kayak in a sit-in kayak. A sit-on kayak you may have enough room for even waders or a dry suit. If you have a spray skirt for your kayak, winter's the time to use it. Not only does it keep water out of the cockpit, but it also keeps the cold breeze from blowing around in there. You're going to be paddling 18 inches from the water, so don't expect to get the full benefit of a 50-degree day. If you have one of these kayaks with the thin plastic seats, you might consider an insulating pad for the winter. On the Kansas River, you're usually less than a minute away from the riverbank, maybe 5 minutes from a sandbar, but you can be miles from the nearest ramp. So be sure to carry a cold weather emergency kit. If you get cold, especially if you get wet and cold, you'll need a warming fire. You want to carry tinder, kindling, and at least 2 ways to light your fire. I carry pine straw as tinder, around a pine cone kindling, a couple of chunks of charcoal. For lighting a fire, you can use a lighter, matches, or something like this, a nice torch. Even if you carry a torch, be sure to also carry matches because butane at cold temperatures doesn't burn very well. Driftwood available on the Kansas River is mostly cottonwood. It's a very light wood. It dries quickly and it burns hot. Sometimes it can be a little damp, so you'll want to have a heavy knife or a hatchet with you. You can use it to bark and also to split the larger pieces down if they're wet on the outside, because often the inside is a lot drier. When you're packing your boat for a winter trip, in addition to the usual emergency gear like your throw bag, your first aid kit with emergency drugs, snacks, water, also carry a fire kit. In case you get wet, you're going to want to have a towel and some extra layers of clothing so you can keep dry and warm while you're waiting for your wet clothes to dry over the fire. You'll probably want a hat, because hats don't dry quickly, and definitely boots are the easiest piece of equipment to get wet and the hardest to get dry, so have some extra socks with you. I hope you can use these tips to enjoy the river all year long.